They say the sky can go from sunshine to storm in a heartbeat. One moment, life feels predictable, safe, even beautiful. And the next, everything changes. The call you never expected. The door slammed shut. The weight you never thought you'd carry. Life doesn't promise calm skies. And if you're breathing, you've likely weathered your share of storms. But here's the truth they don't tell you often enough. The storm is not the end of your story. Right now, someone watching this feels like they're drowning in uncertainty. Questions without answers, pain without relief, nights without rest. If that's you, you're not alone. This message is for the ones who smile in public, but battle anxiety and pride. For the ones who pray but still feel tired. For the ones holding it together with a thread of hope. Yes, storms will come. But what if I told you, you were never meant to face them alone? We tend to believe that faith is the absence of fear, but real faith is built in the middle of fear. It's choosing to trust when everything says you shouldn't. And here's the part that will surprise you. Some of the most powerful moves of God in your life won't happen when everything is calm. They'll happen in the chaos, not despite the storm, but through it. In the next few minutes, you're going to hear something that may shift how you view the pain you're in. You'll discover that not only does God see your storm, He steps into it. You'll learn why being overwhelmed doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human. And more importantly, you'll understand why God's strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet hand that holds you when everything else is falling apart. Some truths rarely get talked about. That it's okay to cry, that it's okay to question, that your faith can be messy, shaken, even doubted, and yet God still carries you. Not because you're perfect, not because you've done everything right, but because His love isn't based on your performance. It's based on His promise. So, if you've been trying to fight the storm with your strength, if you've been blaming yourself for breaking down, if you've been wondering whether God even hears you, stay with me. This isn't just a video, it's a reminder, a message for your soul. You're not abandoned in the wind. You're not forgotten in the waves. God doesn't just calm storms sometimes. He carries you through them. By the end of this video, you won't just be inspired, you'll be anchored, not in a life without storms, but in the one who never lets go, no matter how fierce they get. This is Storms Will Come, but God will carry you. Before we talk about the comfort of being carried by God, we have to be honest about the storms themselves. Because the truth is, storms don't always come with warning signs. Sometimes they appear out of nowhere. Sudden, loud, disorienting. One moment you're standing on solid ground, and the next the wind is howling, the rain is pounding, and everything you thought was secure starts to shake. It can feel like the very foundation of your life is cracking beneath your feet. And when that happens, it's easy to panic, to question, to wonder if you've done something wrong. But not every storm is a punishment. Sometimes a storm is a test, not to break you, but to reveal what can't be shaken. It's in these moments that what we rely on is exposed. When the job is gone, when the relationship ends, when the diagnosis comes, when the silence stretches out longer than you thought it would, that's when our hearts are laid bare. The things we thought would always be there aren't. The people we trusted disappear. The future we imagined gets rewritten in real time, and we're left asking questions we never thought we'd have to ask. These are the storms that hit the soul, the ones that don't just rattle windows but shake belief systems, the kind that leave you standing in the middle of the wreckage, wondering where God is in all of it. And the world might tell you to numb it, to rush through it, to act like it doesn't hurt. But storms are meant to be felt. They're loud because they demand our attention. They're wild because they shake us out of our comfort. They're uncomfortable because they carry purpose we often can't see until we're on the other side. Think about it. A tree's roots grow deeper in the storm. The pressure pushes them further into the ground. In the same way, storms can drive us deeper into the presence of God. When there's nothing else to hold on to, we start to realize that He's been the anchor all along. It's in the confusion that we start to see clearly. It's in the weakness that we find real strength. The kind that doesn't depend on our circumstances, but on a God who doesn't change with the weather. Spiritual storms can feel just as violent as physical ones. They can shake our identity, our purpose, our sense of direction, but they are not signs of abandonment. If anything, they're proof that something greater is being developed, something that can't be taken away. Because God doesn't waste pain. He doesn't allow storms to destroy you, but to develop you, to strip away what was never meant to stay, and to reveal what's eternal, what's unshakable. So as we talk about how God carries you, remember this. The storm is real, yes, but so is His strength. And sometimes it's only when everything is shaking that you learn what will truly hold. There are moments in life when you feel completely isolated, like you're standing on an island, surrounded by a vast ocean of confusion and pain. It's in these times that it feels like no one really understands. People might try to comfort you, but their words don't seem to reach the depth of your heart. You put on a brave face, but inside you're questioning, struggling, wondering if anyone truly sees you or knows what you're going through. It's a lonely place to be. And in those moments, it's easy to believe that God is far away, distant or silent. But here's something you need to hear today. Even in isolation, God is near. In the darkest, quietest moments, He is present, even if you don't feel Him in the way you expect. God's presence doesn't depend on your ability to sense it. It is constant, unwavering, and faithful. When you feel like no one understands, when the weight of your situation presses down on you and you feel as if you're walking this path alone, God is there. He understands. He sees, and He never leaves. There may have been times in your life when you felt utterly misunderstood, when your pain seemed too complex for anyone to grasp. Perhaps you cried out to people for help, but the answers didn't come in the way you needed. It's in these moments that God's presence becomes something deeper than just comfort. It becomes the reassurance that even when no one else can reach you, He can. When you feel isolated, when the world feels indifferent, He is the one who meets you right where you are. Think back to those moments when you felt the weight of the world pressing down, when it seemed like the noise of life was drowning out your voice. You weren't alone then either. God was right there in the silence, holding you together, even when you couldn't hold yourself. His presence is like the air you breathe, steady, constant, whether or not you're aware of it. It's easy to feel disconnected when everything around you is in chaos. But it's in these very moments that God draws near, often in ways that go unnoticed at first. God is not only near in the moments of peace and joy, He is near in the storm, in the struggle, in the mess of life. His presence doesn't disappear because you're struggling. It doesn't vanish because you can't feel it. Just because you don't sense His nearness doesn't mean He's not with you. In fact, He's probably closer than you think, steady and unshaken, even when everything else around you is uncertain. The beauty of God's presence is that it isn't bound by time or space. You don't have to be in a church or in a certain place to experience. His presence is with you wherever you are, in the quiet of your room, in the car on your way to work, in the middle of your struggles. Even when it feels like no one gets it, God gets it, and He's holding you even when you can't see or feel His hand. In the middle of life's storms, when everything feels chaotic and overwhelming, God offers you something that the world cannot give: a refuge, a place of safety, a shelter that stands firm when the winds howl and the waves crash. Imagine for a moment standing under the cover of a strong protective roof, where the rain cannot touch you, where the fierce winds cannot break you. This is the image of God as your refuge. When the world seems to spin out of control, when your heart feels fragile, God is the safe place you can run to, the place where you can find rest and peace. His love, unlike anything the world offers, doesn't waver with the wind. It isn't conditional or temporary, and it doesn't change with your circumstances. The storms may be unpredictable, but God's love is constant, unwavering, and unchanging. You may feel tossed around by the unpredictability of life, but God's love holds you steady. In the midst of uncertainty, His presence remains sure and faithful. It's the kind of love that doesn't disappear when things get hard. His love doesn't leave when the storm is too fierce. It doesn't run when you're struggling. Instead, it draws you close, shelters you, and holds you even when you feel like you're falling apart. Psalm 46:1 reminds us of this truth. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. It's easy to forget in the middle of pain, in the noise of life. But God is ever present. He isn't distant or distracted. He is right there with you in the mess. This verse isn't just a nice sentiment. It's a promise. It means that no matter how overwhelming your circumstances may feel, God is always ready to be your place of safety. When you don't know where to turn, when you're uncertain about the future, you can run to Him. And when you do, you'll find that He is not only present, but also ready to help. Not in a distant or detached way, but with the power and love that brings peace to your storm. In times of struggle, we often look for something to hold on to, something that won't fail us, something that will offer stability in the chaos. People and things will disappoint, but God is a refuge that will never falter. When everything else is shifting, His foundation remains secure. His faithfulness is unwavering. When you are weary and tired, you can find rest in His shelter, knowing that His arms are open and ready to embrace you with comfort and strength. This idea of God as your refuge is not just an abstract concept. It's a tangible reality that you can experience. When your heart is heavy, when the world feels like it's pressing in on you, remember that you have access to a place of peace that surpasses all understanding. This isn't just about finding temporary relief. It's about finding a lasting safe place where you can be fully known, fully loved, and fully protected. God as your refuge offers you more than protection from physical danger. He offers you peace for your soul, healing for your heart, and strength for the journey ahead. There's a quiet strength that comes not from holding everything together, but from letting go. It's a strength found not in our own power, but in surrender. We live in a world that tells us to do more, to be more, to carry more, to handle everything on our own. But the truth is, there are moments when our own strength is not enough, when we've reached the end of ourselves, and all that's left is to fall into the arms of someone stronger. And in that moment of surrender, we find a strength that is greater than our own, the kind of strength that doesn't come from holding on, but from being carried. To be carried is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of being chosen. It's a reminder that even when you feel like you've been left behind, you're not forgotten. God's love for you doesn't depend on your ability to carry your burdens or keep everything in balance. In fact, the very act of being carried means that you're protected, you're held, and you're never out of His sight. When life feels like it's too much, when you feel like you're about to crumble under the weight of it all, God doesn't stand by and watch. He takes the burden you can't bear, and He carries it for you. The beauty of being carried is that it means God is doing what we can't. There are moments when the weight of the world feels crushing, when grief, worry, or fear feels unbearable. In those moments, you're not alone. You don't have to keep carrying that weight on your own, because God is there, ready to bear it with you, and not just with you, He carries it. He lifts the burden you cannot carry, and He doesn't ask you to walk that road alone. He doesn't demand that you pull yourself together before He steps in. He simply holds you steady and unshaken. When you can't stand on your own, God's promise is that He will carry the burdens we cannot bear. In Matthew 11:28, Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." It's not just a rest from physical tiredness. It's rest from the weight of our worries, our fears, our doubts. It's the rest that comes when we stop trying to do it all ourselves and allow God to take what's too heavy for us to hold. To be carried by God is to be enveloped in His grace and strength. To know that no matter how far you fall, you will never hit the ground alone. When you feel crushed by life's pressures, remember that you're not being abandoned, you're being carried. Even in the deepest of struggles, even in the hardest of moments, God's love and power are lifting you up. You may feel weak, but that's when His strength is made perfect. You may feel small, but that's when His arms surround you most. To be carried means that you are held, protected, and chosen by the one who will never leave you, no matter how heavy the load may seem. Storms, by their very nature, they interrupt the smooth flow of life, shaking everything you thought was steady and secure. But if we take a moment to reflect, we can begin to see that storms do more than just break things apart. They refine. They are not simply periods of destruction. They are seasons of transformation. Though the winds may howl and the rain may pour, God is working in the midst of it. What seems like chaos is often the very thing that shapes us into something stronger, something deeper. When you look back on your life, think about the storms that have come and gone, the ones that felt like they would never end, the ones that left you questioning, wondering if you'd ever see the light of day again. Yet here you are standing. You may have been bent, you may have been bruised, but you have not been broken, and that's the power of growth. It's not that the storm didn't have an impact, it did, but it didn't have the final word. God did. In the midst of hardship, we learn things about ourselves and about God that we never could have learned in the easy season. It's in the struggle that we discover what truly matters, what truly holds us up. We find strength in places we didn't know we had. We learn how to trust, how to let go, how to surrender. And as we reflect on these moments of growth, we realize that God didn't bring the storm to destroy us. He brought it to refine us, to reveal the unshakable faith that was always there, waiting to be uncovered. Storms build spiritual depth. They take us beyond surface-level faith into a deeper, more intimate relationship with God. When everything else feels uncertain, His presence becomes more real. When we've hit rock bottom and have nowhere else to turn, we discover that He is the solid rock beneath our feet. These moments of trial stretch our faith in ways comfort never could. They teach us to rely not on our own understanding, but on the one who holds everything together. They break us open so that His love and His truth can fill us in a way that nothing else ever could. After the storm, there is a new sense of clarity. You begin to see things differently, not just the world around you, but your own heart. The things that once seemed important lose their grip, and the things that truly matter rise to the surface. You begin to see how God was working in the storm, how He was using every trial, every heartache, to mold you into the person you are becoming. The storm wasn't pointless, it was purposeful. It didn't come to defeat you, it came to shape you into someone who can stand firm even when the winds are fierce. God uses broken seasons to build an unshakable faith. It's in these times that we learn the depth of His love, the strength of His promises, and the power of His presence. As we move through the storm and emerge on the other side, we're not just survivors, we're transformed, and the faith we carry into the future is stronger, deeper, and more unshakable than ever before. No storm lasts forever. The winds may rage, the clouds may darken, but with each passing moment, the storm eventually begins to fade. The sun will rise again, and so will you. No matter how fierce the battle, no matter how overwhelming the struggle, God is faithful to bring you through. He is with you in the storm, and He will see you to the other side. Your journey is not defined by the storm you're in, but by the strength you find in God through it. You may bend, but with God, you will not break. His love will sustain you, His strength will carry you, and His promises will hold you steady, no matter what comes your way. So take heart, the storm will pass, and hope is always on the horizon. If this message has resonated with you, if it has brought comfort or encouragement, we'd love for you to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Join us as we continue to walk this journey of faith together. Remember, you're not alone, and there's always hope, no matter the storm.